Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm truly blessed to have the opportunity today to share my very first discourse with you all today. Growing up, my dad would say to me that there are two paths you can take in this life. One is the path towards the divine, and one is the path that takes you away. He told me that the path that takes me away will show me numerous attractions, and that will be the path that will look easy and full of pleasure. I now realize that this was the path of Maya. He told me the path that takes me towards the divine is the path of fulfillment, and is where I will find my inner peace. He told me to think of this world as a narrow path, where there are thorns at each side. You have to get through this narrow path without getting stung. The question for me was, how do I do that? Since joining this Sangat, I'm finding that inner peace that he was referring to. I feel like I cleanse my soul with every kirtan I experience, with every simran I attend, and with every discourse that I absorb. This is the path that my dad was referring to, staying in the company of those who help you get closer to the divine and help you stay on the right path, always. Har par har lik, har jap, har gao. Read about the Lord, write about the Lord, chant the Lord, and sing. The opportunity to sit down and write this discourse alone has been a way in which I reconnect with the divine. It is a Sangat that has allowed me to do this. I see this Sangat as a place where we can, regardless of our beliefs and traditions, come together to truly celebrate and remember the divine. The scriptures and saints before us have informed that if we truly want to experience spiritual bliss and constant happiness, this is obtained only through the Sangat. It is through the Sangat that we are able to experience the divine both here and now, and also in our future experiences. The scriptures state, Tan man tan sab sob gur gao, hukam maniye paiye. Surrender body, mind, wealth, and everything to the Guru. Obey the order of his will, and you will find him. With your body, you serve the Guru and no other. You put your hands, your feet, every part of you in savor of the divine, without any need for reward. This is our bodily sacrifice. Giving the mind is letting go of your ego, the intellect based in Maya, the pride of the mind. Letting go of this. Giving your wealth to the Guru is sharing what you have with others and the less fortunate. This is also spending your money ethically, not spending on things that will not complement your spiritual path. These are the sacrifices we make. The Sangat itself is the home of the divine. It is a Sangat that is the true home of the divine. It is where the divine can be found. Whoever has the fortune of coming into a Sangat is blessed, and I truly feel blessed. Without the support of those who have travelled the path, we are unable to see what we are missing. We are unable to understand the effects of ego on our spiritual path. However, when we are in the Sangat, we find those that will guide and mentor us on our journey. This is what I am experiencing. The Sangat has taught me that entrance and prosperity in the spiritual kingdom demand the prerequisite of humility. One must take the first and last step of their spiritual journey with utmost humility and meekness. The first stage of man's spiritual developments is that of humility. The basis of all the commandments necessary to attain the pleasure of God is humility and humbleness. Therefore, humility shouldn't be viewed as a character flaw. Rather, it is a hallmark of those who earnestly seek truth. If one were to reflect on the deeper meanings of humility, they would come to realize that any ability or talent we possess is granted to us by the divine. Once we realize and internalize that all abilities stem from the divine, are we able to recognize and shatter false pride that may be consuming us? Undoubtedly, ego is the enemy of a believer. The Sangat is such that they will recognize what is stopping you from moving on in your spiritual practice. Where you enter the Sangat and observe the nature of others, we will start adopting this nature within ourselves. This will then complement our meditation. In the Sangat, we will develop the love and emotion to serve the divine, to remember the divine. We will experience glimpses of the divine, and we will be supplied with the tools in order to counter our ego. When approaching the Sangat, we need to have the mindset that we want to gain here. Our existence is a conversation with the divine. The divine themselves is the one who allows us to love them. It is for this reason the spiritualists continuously live in gratitude to the divine for allowing them to love them. The Sangat has helped me realize how to consider with conviction one's whole self to be such that it has been designed only to recognize the divine, to be obedient, and to gain their love and their approval. Then by his actions to perform all the good deeds and pious acts with such enthusiasm and verve as he can see his Lord and Creator in the reflection of his obedience. When one devotes completely oneself with all one's hidden and visible faculties and fulfills all the trust that has been placed in him by the divine, is when the feeling of fulfillment is achieved. The claimant of the divine proves by his hands, his heart, his wisdom, that his anger, his sympathy, his humanity, his knowledge, his spiritual and physical powers, as well as everything that belongs to him from head to foot, all his passions and apprehensions have become obedient to the divine, as his limbs are obedient to him. In short, it should be proven that his true obedience to the divine has achieved that level where nothing belongs to him and that all organs have been submitted to the service of the divine to such an extent that they have become limbs of the truth. Without the Sangat, the company of the holy, love for the Lord does not well up, and without this love, your devotional worship cannot be performed. The time you spend reflecting on the divine and meditating with the Sangat is what is going to be your eternal support. This is the single breath of life for your soul. Even 1 second in the Sangat will open doors to countless heavens for you. When we speak of coming in the Sangat, we mean where your mind and thoughts are present in the Sangat. The physical attendance in the Sangat will not attract these blessings alone. The Sangat that we do influences everything around us. The Sangat that we do influences the trees, the vegetation, the nature around us. Wherever we meditate, whatever Sangat we keep, that vibration, that fragrance will be raised around us. We don't have to understand the way of the divine. This is a path of feeling and experience and not a trivial pursuit. These are alien concepts to those lost in the world. Both those in the world and those in a spiritual life have never been able to meet in the middle. It is either one path or it is the other. When we talk about those living in the world, we don't mean those honouring their responsibilities. Live with your families, support, love, and care for one another. This is living within the divine's hukam or order. You can live, enjoy the finer things in life. The challenge for us is whether we then define ourselves by our family, our job, our possessions, or do we acknowledge that these are mere passing gifts of the divine? When we start relying on our possessions, our status, our money, our health, our family, eventually we will fail. In the end, all of these things will let us down. But the true Sangat we keep in our final moments will open up 1,000 doors. When we come into the Sangat, we are transformed. It happens so subtly, we don't even realize it's happening. Sangat is something that happens naturally. Nothing is forced. But if we are receptive to receive the grace of the divine, a beautiful change will happen in us. And it starts from the Sangat. This change is happening for me now, and I cannot even begin to describe how beautiful it is. This is why the Sangat we keep will make or break us. The worst thing we can do is surround ourselves by those totally tormented by Maya. Instead, a constant reflection and attendance on the one divine and within the Sangat keeps us focused on our positivity and our true purpose. The Sangat has taught me to break those relationships that are false, those relationships that will make you drown in this world. Instead, find those true friends, those divine souls who will become your friend, your assistant, your advocate in your last precious moments. If the company we are not keeping is not positive for our spiritual growth, for our health and well-being, then change it. Find that Sangat that will support you. Find that Sangat that will be your support in your final breaths. Once we have meditated and heard the Guru in the Sangat, it then becomes incumbent on us to spread this awareness to others. As your nature changes, people will notice a change in you, and here we can guide others also to find this divinity in their lives. People influence us every day, but does their influence inspire us or sap our energy? Do they serve as positive role models or negative influences? Do they want what's best for you, or are they out for themselves? This is why the Gurbani tells us that there is that Sangat that will lead us to the door of liberation, and there is that Sangat that will only lead us to continued chaos. Let us travel back to the time of the fifth Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, to a beautiful Saki on the importance of Sangat. In the thick of the night, in the stillness of time, everyone was asleep in the village, but lurking in the fields was a notorious thief by the name of Bidhi Chand. So notorious was this thief, he had plundered and ruined many a town, but no one knew anything of him. He was a complete shadow that disappeared into the thickness of the night. Bidhi Chand saw his opportunity. This time he was out to steal the cattle from a farm in the village. He ran to the cattle, untied them, and started to make his getaway, but the village was awakened to the shriek of the cattle. In fear, he ran with his loot, but was being chased by the village, who at this point were armed to the teeth. Running and running, he came across a man covered in a blanket. He was a beloved Sikh of the Guru, who had awoken in the middle of the night and was absorbed in the Shabd mantra. Bidhi Chand ran to him. O Sikh of the Guru, I have heard the Guru protects all. I'm in trouble, please protect me. The saintly soul spoke softly and said to Bidhi Chand, Son, come and sit with me. As I repeat the mantra of Vaheguru, repeat the same mantra after me. Together we will remember the divine together. As it was, both started reciting the Shabd mantra. In this time, the village caught up and asked the saint, Oh dear saint, we were chasing a thief, but the trail has gone cold. He stole our cattle, but he is nowhere to be seen. Have you seen him? The saint turned and said, There is no thief here, just me and my blessed companion in this sad Sangat. But if you need cattle, just take these cows that wandered here. There is no thief here. You see, anyone who comes in the sad Sangat has a protection of the divine. The saint then took Bidhi Chand to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and upon gazing on the great Guru, any sense of his former life was destroyed in an instant. From being a thief, from that one encounter with the Sad Sangat, his life was transformed. Not just his life, but Bidhi Chand then went to inspire others on this divine path. We too can have that change if we truly want that process of change to occur. If we truly want something more than this life and body. The true essence of the Sangat is when we too carry that fragrance of the Sangat. We spend time with the blessed saints, and by acting on their words and instructions, that fragrance will blossom. A king is only known as a king if he has a kingdom to govern. A soldier is only one who carries his weapon in the same way a member of that Sangat is only recognized as one if they take on the qualities of that Sangat. One who associates with the true Sangat is as if one of them and remains in the shelter of divine's blessings. One effect of keeping such company is that one too is a recipient of content and inner satisfaction. One way to reform oneself is to keep the company of truthful, to adopt fear of God. The Holy Quran refers to this as taqwa. And with taqwa, one will then completely remain in the presence of the divine, in the presence of the Shabad. Even if one begins to keep the company of the truthful with somewhat disquiet, it eventually brings about a positive change. The Sangat is most important for purifying oneself. That is to seek help from one who is on the right path, to continually correct oneself. We should stick with the truthful and try and thus make ourselves truthful and aim to accomplish this for our next generation as well. Our true purpose in this life is to connect back to the divine. We reconnect to the divine through the loving devotion of the divine by meditating and reflecting on the Shabad mantra, and by practicing and developing divine qualities within our own life. We can only do this by sitting in the right Sangat. Our purpose is divine, but we cannot see this. We cannot see the divine sitting within the temple of our heart. Instead, we look at this physical world and all of its experiences as real. We do not realize that this too was created by the divine, but instead attach ourselves to the illusions of this world. This Sangat has taught me that I don't need to dig into my past. I have many shortcomings, but this Sangat has taught me that I need to live in the present. If I take 10 steps towards the divine, then the divine will take 1,000,000 steps towards me. This is the beauty of the divine that the Sangat has helped me to experience, and I cannot thank the Sangat enough for gracing me with the benefits of this Sangat. In conclusion, let us focus on the beautiful words of Bhai Gurdas Ji on the wonder of Sangat. A disciple who walks one step towards Guru to take his refuge and goes to him with devotion and humility, the Guru rushes to receive him by taking 1,000,000 steps. He who unites with the divine by remembering the mantra of the Guru even once, the true Guru remembers him millions of times. He who makes an offering of even a shell before the true Guru with loving worship and faith, the true Guru blesses him with the countless treasure and the true wealth of the Shabad. The true Guru is a treasure of compassion that is beyond description and understanding. Therefore, I submit and fall countless times in front of them because there is no one else like him. May the divine always shower the blessings of this Sangat upon us all. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.